right, we're joined today by the one, the only, a man who, in my opinion, I don't think it needs any introduction. But Grant Cohn is the king of Twitter, and this is for sure his jester. I mean, this is East Bay Chris, the burner person, I guess, not really a burner account. It used to be the burner account, but now there's a face to the account. East Bay Chris, welcome to the Muffed podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to get that daily that I was Grant's burner, but that's kind of faded recently after I revealed myself.
Are you a burner person?
Now it's like once every other day.
Exactly. I think you're just a burner person now. Like Grant will just I see you as a face, but I think like Grant still tweets on your account. That's kind of just like, I think he just puts you there just to like get people off the trail. That's my current perspective on that.
Yeah, I think he's gone a little PC recently. He's a little more optimistic, but I've kind of stayed to being my true self. And I think he's living a little vicariously through East Bay Chris on Twitter.
I think so too. I think maybe I've noticed that too. He's just become he's become too likable recently. And I don't like that. Personally, I don't like that. Yeah.
Level-headed takes all of a sudden.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, the first thing I just want to ask, I mean, we have you on, we got to ask, like, how did this all come to be? Like, you just out of nowhere, was it just like you had an idea like, hey, let me just be like satire and all that? And then how did it, did you expect it to blow up in the way that it has kind of on 49ers Twitter?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty natural progression. Like, if you had seen my account 2.5 years ago, I was just like any other fan, just like debating 49ers. Just kind of getting into it with people, thinking my opinion was better than anyone else's. And then somewhere along the line,
people usually do on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then somewhere along the line, I realized like there's no point to this. There's no point to any debate on Twitter. You're not going to change anyone's mind. And I think it was some of my opinions were turning out to be false anyway. Like in the long run, like I was wrong. And I was like, oh shit, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I followed Grant for a long time, and I just sort of changed it to where I was doing like a lot of Photoshops, and he was retweeting my stuff. And I noticed like the funnier that I was, the more retweets I got. I mean, he had thousands of followers. I had like 100. And I think it was actually when we started the Dante Pettis hype train. I think Lemire was on that hype train.
He was big on the hype train.
I was a proud member of the Dante Pettis hype train.
Okay, so let me explain that. So I think that day I was just thinking like, what is the most ridiculous thing that I can throw out there? Like just the dumbest thing that definitely won't come true. And I threw out, it was before the beginning of last season. I said, I think this year, no, I said, this is going to sound crazy, guys, but this is the year that Dante Pettis will lead the 49ers in receiving yards.
And Lemire retweeted it. Was like, dude, this is exactly what I've been thinking. You're on my wavelength. And you did that as a joke. And Lemire was like, nope, I'm on this exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Hey, man, I still believe it. One day in the future, Dante Pettis will come back to the 49ers and he'll lead the
Lemire, do you want to say your take, or are you embarrassed about it? What's your Dante Pettis?
Dante Pettis will be a Hall of Famer. I still believe that.
You're still standing by that? When are you going to give that up? That's what I'm doing.
No, you're not giving the context, because you said he's a Hall of Famer, a 49ers Hall of Famer, up there with Jerry Rice and T.O. That's what you said.
Okay, that might have been a little overblown, but I can't back out of my take now. I've like
that's true. I respect that.
So I'm just gonna wait until he retires or something, and then hopefully no one ever like remembers. But until then, I'm owning it.
A Hall of Famer in the NFL.
Yeah.
You didn't specify that, Lemire. You're right. Yeah, he could be like an XFL Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Well, I actually kind of like Dante. Like, he's a cool person. He's responded to a couple of my tweets. So I still hope he's an NFL Hall of Famer.
I mean, I'm blocked by him.
If he does turn out to be an XFL Hall of Famer, I'd be down.
He's actually interacted with all of us on Twitter at least once.
Yeah. He interacts with us. No, he actually blocked me. And then
that's what I was gonna ask you, Chris. I need your advice. How do I get unblocked? Because I've been blocked and I don't know why. Like, I don't know what I really did.
Yeah, it's really easy. Just follow the coattails of the guy who becomes the leader of the 49ers SI channel.
Okay.
And then once he blows you up, then the players will take note, and then they'll unblock you and start interacting with you. So it's pretty easy.
Okay, Chris, so then I'm going to propose this to you. So you rode the coattails of Grant. I'm going to ride yours. Can we just do that? Like, maybe we'll how does that work?
A coattail train.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could try that, but I think there's sort of a limit of how high I can go. I think there's a lot of people who just despise me.
All right, Vish it is then, I guess. Vish is who we're moving on to, I guess. That's got to be.
Yeah, I would move to Vish. I think that's a safer bet than East Bay Chris.
Oh,
But if you look at my follower count each day, it's up and down like the crypto market.
It really is, dude. I mean, you're like I think there's people who understand your humor, and like I think like I mean the three of us like we love your stuff, and it's like this is hilarious. Like it's what like a lot of us like in the back of our heads. Like I know like, I'm watching the 49ers games, and I'm like sometimes I just want them to lose. Like it just kind of be funny to lose. I just want to see everyone's reactions just to see it, and just you saying and vocalizing it is just a side of me that like in the back of my head that I've suppressed. But honestly, I really respect that you just go out there and say it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And yeah, just finishing my story. So the Pettis thing, it blew up. And then that's when I realized, okay, just make this account. Whatever you're thinking, just say the opposite. Just say the opposite at every time. Things that'll kind of annoy people. Like I would always throw out pictures of like Tyreek Hill catching that ball during the Super Bowl. That,
the Jimmy overthrow.
Yeah, like people hated that. I kind of moved away from that because people sort of know what to expect now. So I got to be a little bit more clever. But yeah, no, just do the opposite. Like George Costanza from Seinfeld, and it seems to work. Just whatever my intuition is telling me, I just do the opposite.
Well, I think that's a perfect segue because I had a planned kind of segment that maybe we would do that would be kind of fun, and I'm gonna give you some scenarios just that I've come up with that could happen maybe throughout like this season or maybe just in the future, and they're gonna get more ridiculous as we get down the list of different scenarios. But just like an off the cuff, can you give me like an East Bay Chris tweet? I'm just gonna give you a scenario, and you just give me like, all right, here's the first thing that came to mind that I would tweet out if this happened. Okay. So the first one is everyone all the hoopla right now. Julio Jones coming to the 49ers. What's your take on
that? Jesus, dude, you're putting me right on the spot.
Okay. I am putting you on the spot there. Yeah,
I know. I don't have anything for that.
You don't think so? I was thinking like maybe like a Dante Pettis, maybe like bring back or something like that, or just
tell me your reaction first, and give me a second to think.
I would think you'd be like, I hope his career, maybe he can learn from some former 49ers legends like Dante Pettis, maybe put up like a picture. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm not, my brain doesn't work like yours does. So like,
right. I'd love to see him, spend some time with River Craycraft in the locker room so he can really bring him up to speed.
That's it right there.
Yeah. My hope is that he could help with punt returns too. River seems to really know what he's doing back there.
Chris, you ever need help, man, you just need someone just like to bounce the ideas off, man. I got you, because that was perfect right there. We just talked that through.
Yeah. My favorite moment from last year was actually that River Craig. Last year was so terrible. So you just have to embrace the awful moments of last year. Everyone went to the McKinnon from the Wildcat thing. But I just loved River Craycraft just calling that fair catch with no one within like 20 yards of him. Just like, nope.
What about Dante Pettis' last play in the 49ers, the fumble, where he fumbled that? That's another one that was just that was so poetic, honestly. I feel like you couldn't, like, if the NFL was like, you can convince me the NFL was rigged after that moment right there, because that was just so perfect.
Right, that was like so over the top. Like if I had thrown out that tweet, it would have gone like 0 likes, because they're like, that's stupid. That wouldn't happen. But you're right. It was poetic. It was like
it really.
You're right. You know what? That was the best moment last year.
I think so. That happened, and for a second, I should be like, "Am I in a dream?" Like this just seems like that was just too on brand. I think things don't work this perfectly usually. Okay, so let's do another one. Trey Lance throws 5 interceptions in practice. What would yours be for that?
Okay. Trey Lance throws 5 interceptions in practice.
We could do 6. 6 is fine as well. Up to you, the number.
6, yeah. I would throw out something like, it looks like Jimmy's really been working hard with Trey and kind of getting up to speed of how,
I wanted to give you
the 49er way. Exactly. How to succeed here, how to be a starter on the 49ers, something like that.
Oh, I like that. And I think with the last one right here, and this is this is not going to happen at all. I'm sorry, Lemeter. Dante Pettis has a Pro Bowl season, and then let's just add in, he goes to the Hall of Fame. We'll just put those two, like, this is your tweet of Dante Pettis. He has a Pro Bowl season next year, and then he retires and goes to into the Giants Hall of Fame and just the NFL.
Oh God, I wouldn't even be clever about it. I would just rub it in people's face. I would just like revisit my tweets from last year. Just like, I told you so. just like you're rubbing a dog's nose in its poop. It would just be like that.
I think Solomon Thomas,
relentless.
Solomon Thomas and Dante Pettis are the two guys you got to kind of root for. That's going to be a legendary East Bay Chris tweet. If that either one of those guys ever turn out to be good, it would be a really good tweet. That's all. I had a few other dumb ones, but I think those were the best ones. I think I nitpicked the best ones right there. I don't want to put, I want to leave it to you. I don't want to give everything away because I think some of these could happen. If Julio does actually come, I don't want to. People are gonna watch this and it's gonna be ruined.
Dante Pettis one. I could see that one happening.
Yeah,
I think so
that.
too.
You guys are big on Dante Pettis on this show. Oh, except for Aaron.
We're Dante Pettis. Dante's Pettis Stan podcast. Really, yeah. We considered it. When we were pitching ideas for what the podcast would be, it was really just at first it was just going to be a Dante Pettis podcast where we only just strictly talk about Dante Pettis.
Yeah, I can see how you kind of latched onto my account. I'm sorry to tell you that I was just messing around.
Oh man. I guess Lemire, you got to be South Bay Lemire. I think.
I guess so. I got a full steam ahead with the Dante Pettis train. That doesn't stop.
Dante Pettis, it doesn't. And then the Bourne Boys lasted for 2 months, and then he went to the Patriots. So yeah, that's. I think the Bourne Boys are over as well. Unfortunately, both of those can be laid to rest.
It really annoys me. Like, you guys have good ideas. And you don't have the same followership of some of these other podcasts. It really annoys me.
I just couldn't see why. I mean, we bring excellent insight into the 49ers. I mean, just nobody watches film like the three of us. And it's just everyone wants to watch Grant and Bish. I don't get it. I'm with you, Chris. I have no clue what that is.
Well, I talked to him. He watches your streams and he gets all his information from you guys. So
it clearly makes sense.
They know what's up.
They do know what's up. Yeah. I mean, if Grant ever needs to call me or Lemire, we'll swing by Levi's right away. We'll do a quick pros and cons, good and not good. I can do a quick interview right in front of the helmet, like he does. Lemire, do you had any questions, right? You told me you got a bunch planned too.
I usually blank when we have to ask questions because I have a couple thought out, and then the conversation starts happening, and then it just all dries up.
Oh, that's good, man. Yeah, seems like you're really organized on this show here.
Oh, that is the podcast signature. We do over prepare for things. Oh, but I just remembered what I was gonna ask. So in your eyes, Chris, how do you predict the 49ers season going this year? It could be on brand to the East Bay Chris brand, or your actual take. Either one's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant to say this, not because I'm jumping out of character, but I'm optimistic. Sort of my running joke on Twitter has been that they don't really invest in the cornerback position. They went after Sherman and Brett, who are coming off major injuries. And that's been pretty much it, except in the case of Witherspoon in the third round. The fact that they went after the cornerback position in the draft, I thought that was huge. Getting that lineman in the second round, and I like Trey Lance. He's an interesting prospect, and everything you hear about him, he's bright. I've listened to him talk to the media a little bit. I'm like, you can't dislike this guy. So I'm optimistic going into it. Why I'm kind of hesitant is anytime I'm optimistic about the 49ers, it always backfires. It's never good. It never ends well for me. And I was talking about this on my stream last night. I became a fan of the 49ers right after the Steve Young years when he peaked, right? And I think you guys are kind of in that same age bracket where all our lives we've heard about Steve Young, Joe Montana, how great the franchise used to be. And we never saw it. We've lived through the Jed York years of the 49ers. We've seen nothing but shit. And when it was good,
JT O'Sullivan slander on this podcast, okay? That's one thing
we're a JT O'Sullivan podcast here.
And then when we had it good for that brief Harbaugh, the 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was, it blew up in our faces. It didn't, Jed kicked him out of the building.
We couldn't have good things. It just wasn't the 49ers way. Exactly. We couldn't have good things.
Right. So, you live like this for 20 years. You live like this for 20 years and you just become very pessimistic about things. And even though things have looked good with Kyle and John, and again, the draft looked good, I just know how this goes.
Yeah. The injuries are already starting to come. Jeff Wilson is out for 4 to 6 months. Every year we're every year. This is an annual 49ers Twitter thing.
I saw that and laughed. That was the funniest thing.
Next year, there will be no injuries. We'll finally get rid of the injury bug. But then again, the next year, you run it back with the injuries. Before it was Reuben Foster getting injured. Now, then it was Jerick McKinnon, Jimmy Garoppolo, all those three guys getting injured. Then the year after, the next year, Staley got injured, but luckily we still made the run for it. And then the entire team got injured last year, and I think the first dominoes fell now.
Yeah, and it was weekly. Every week, it was one or two more big name players, and so yeah, you kind of live on edge a little bit. Like, I don't know. I was kind of expecting something bad. I'm like expecting these injuries to come, something bad to happen. Because I'm like,
the funniest thing about that. Season. The funniest thing about that was last year, the two notoriously injury-prone guys, Jimmy Ward and Jason Verrett, were like the two most healthy people on the team,
right?
which cracked me up.
It was, I mean, the most like ironic thing would be right now if Trey Lance like all of a sudden just becomes super injury prone, like he just never sees the field. We get like another AJ Jenkins type of situation. We're all so hyped about him, and then he just never plays.
I'm knocking on wood.
I will too, but I mean, Chris, honestly, I think the reason I like your content and stuff like that is because I've become so pessimistic. Last year, that Miami Dolphins game, I actually started to enjoy myself. I started rooting for I can't for that right now. What's his name? Number 48, where he was just getting they were just throwing it to his side every single play.
What was that?
Brian Allen.
Yes, thank you. And at some point I started like questioning myself, like, why do I find this hit? Like, I find like enjoyment in this, because I used to like this usually would suck. I would usually be like, man, this is horrible. We're losing to the Miami Dolphins. Like, I penciled it like this should have been an automatic win. Like, this was not even a question. And we're getting our ass kicked right now, and I was just enjoying every second of it. And like, I'm like, there's a problem. There's a problem.
You actually manifested Trey Lance going to the Niners that day, because you sent a bunch of pictures of him in the group chat where just like it's tagged for Trey time. So
I started pissing the meter off, and I started sending gifs of Trey Lance, because I was like, the season's over. It's like week 4 or week 5. And I'm like, it's done. I don't want to root for the 49ers anymore.
So they played the Eagles the week before that, right?
Yes,
I believe so. Yes,
the Dolphins.
The week
before, right? And that was a miserable game too. Yep.
Okay, so just so you guys understand, like, I am a fan at heart, and I went into last season. I was pretty much as optimistic as I am about this season, and it was after that Eagles game where I remember I was just like depressed. I was like, something's off here. Like, this doesn't feel like we're gonna get the same Super Bowl run that we had the year prior. And the Eagles, they were at home. They were playing Wentz, who was, he was already getting lambasted by the media on social media and all that. And the fact that they lost that game, I think it was late in the game that they had given up the lead as well.
Off like a fumble, right? I believe, right? It was a Nick Mullins
it was
fumble.
A Nick Mullins pick.
Or maybe an interception, yeah.
The one where he threw it right to the linebacker. He was just sitting there in the flat. Nick Mullins was like, here you go, pick 6.
That sucks, because I was so bipolar that year was just so bipolar, because I started off exactly like you, Chris. I was like, that was such a good season. I expected nothing from the 2019 season. I expected like 8-8 best case scenario. We went to the Super Bowl. I was like, all right, we should be pretty good this year. I started off, Cardinals, right, and then all those injuries, the Jets and the Giants, and then Eagles, Dolphins, those were horrible. And I'm like, all right, this is over. I'm done with it. Trey Lance time. Or I started looking at mock drafts. I started sending them links of mock drafts, because I was like, the season's over. Let's start looking at the mock drafts. And then the Patriots game and the Rams game comes up, and it's like, and it slaps me. Lemeter's like, let's look at the mock drafts now. Yeah, I mean, we're back, dude. We're totally back. I'm like, Lemeter, fuck, man, you're bringing me back in. Just just when I thought I was out, I get back in, and then the Niners started to stink it up again. And the last year was just I think it's pretty much transitioned me into. I think I saw the East Baker's character, and I thought I was like, oh, that's it's just funny because he's just dicking on everybody, and he's just kind of being an asshole to everybody in the community and stuff like that. And then I've turned into East Baker's. It's no longer a joke. It's become like
I think it was the Eagles game last year, though. The point I brought it up, the reason I brought it up was because that was the game where it's like, where it's like, okay, this season, like, it's not trending well. Like, I'm doubling down. Like, I'm going as pessimistic as possible. And I think, like, the sooner, when you realize, like, the team, they're not really headed where you want them to. And I think at that point, like, Garoppolo, he was injured. It wasn't looking like he was going to come back. We'd lost Bosa. It wasn't looking good. So the sooner that you embrace the losses and, like you said, just kind of laugh at it, like just watching Brian Allen get smoked, it's like, what are we watching?
It was hilarious. It was objectively just like really funny. Like, it's like...
And it's just better to be like that. Or you could be depressed on Twitter with the other, 49ers fans. What's the point of that?
I couldn't agree more. It's it's just the duality of the tweets at 49ers where you see like one where like they're showing you all the PFF grades and watching film. It's like, oh, it wasn't all that bad, you know that. And then you see another guy tweet out, be like, I would have put a traffic cone out instead of Allen. I think I would have done a better job. Would have done a better job. And it's like that's I just enjoy that more a little bit, you know. Like maybe that's for somebody, but you know, for myself personally, I just enjoyed it. The traffic cone tweets.
Yeah, I think that account. And I kind of separate it, like it is like this alternate persona. Like part of it is me. Like I have these weird internal thoughts that come out, and I just gotta like push them out to Twitter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that actually I just lost my thought. I don't know what the hell I was about to say there.
You were talking about how that it's very separate, that like your personality and the personality of your Twitter account, East Bay Chris, that like, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I'm doing YouTube shows, and it's kind of like this. It's, you know, I don't plan anything beforehand. Like I'm just kind of messing around, like just hanging out.
We can give you some tips maybe on like planning and stuff like that. We're pretty good on that, pretty spot on.
But I don't like planning. I hate the planning part of it. Like I just I don't like when it's structured. You know, I'll have things that I want to kind of bring up and talk about, like I think about during the day, but it's just random. Like I was talking about Al Guido, and I did a whole stream on Al
I was watching that last night. It was your show is so good because it's like when like you did that face reveal and everything. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be that funny anymore, because it's like, you know, it was a lot funnier when it was just a Twitter account without a person. Like there's no face it and all the Grant Cohn jokes and all that. And the moment you put your face out, it's like, all right, that kind of puts that to rest. You can't call him Grant Cohn's burner account anymore. But you've done that really well. Like you've taken that personality kind of, and that mock draft you did, that was like that was so funny. Like I watched it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and mock draft was so good. It's like, you know, maybe we'll trade our picks. We'll take the night off and just go to dinner.
Yeah. Selecting Mac Jones twice to make
Mac Jones, just make him, give him some confidence. That was perfect. Yeah.
But by the end of the draft, Kyle Shanahan, he drafted himself to play quarterback because he wasn't sure about just selecting Jones. And I had him taking Kellen Mond in the 2nd round too. It's all so
and then I think it was Kellen Mond in the 2nd, and then in the 3rd round you get Mac Jones again just to give him some confidence that like you don't want a QB competition between him and Mond. You want to give.
Well, no, they didn't take him as 3rd. I had him trading up. So after they select Mond in the 2nd, they traded up to the pick right after Mond because they really wanted to. They instantly kind of regretted their decision, and like they're looking at Mac Jones like, it looks a little sad. So
as usually, you know, GMs and head coaches of professional football teams do, you know, regret their decision right away. No, I mean, Chris, I'm curious about this. You're so tapped in, you know, you know Jed York so well, you know, you talk about his Twitter account so frequently. Yeah. I mean, the mock draft, you hit that out of the park. I mean, you almost nailed every single pick. I didn't see anyone else get as close as you were. When are you going to get media passes? Like, when is that? Like, what gives with that? Like, I mean, today, everyone was at OTAs, and I just said, where's the East Bay Chris? Like, where's East Bay Chris interviewing George Kittle or interviewing Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about Kittle. I mean, he is constantly blowing up my phone, and it's gotten a little awkward. You know, it started as, you know, just a very nice friendship, but he's pushing a little bit far. So I actually stay away from Levi's now because that guy, you know, he's just all in my business all the time. I don't know if you've seen some of the tweets that are 100% factual and.
I've seen a few. I do believe I've seen a few. But are you looking for applications? Because I know Dante Pettis was your best friend. Now that he's in New York, I mean, it's a long distance friendship. But are you looking for new applications for NFL athletes that could be your best friend?
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like my niche for best friends are borderline wide receivers, that guys that are sort of on their way out. River Craycraft seems to be my new target.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I don't know what you're getting. This is the next Jerry Rice we're talking about here. River Craycraft is, I mean, his potential is
sure. Devin Hester, yeah.
I mean, the returnability of Devin Hester. I mean, yeah, just the receiver skills, the route running of a Jerry Rice, and I would say maybe the athleticism of a Randy Moss. That's where I would put him at personally.
You know, it's funny. This is a true story. There's a guy, I don't know if this is real or not, but there's a guy who tweeted at me, and he said that his wife is associated with Rivers' family. I guess she's a part of the family, right? Uh-huh. And they've got a little kid, and they wanted the kid to meet River, right? He's into football, whatever, and I guess like River blew off the kid.
So they're like in his own family.
Yeah, so this guy was kind of like talking shit about him on Twitter. Again, I don't know if this is true.
He just big timed. He big timed him when he's like really not big time at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really random, but
that's really funny because River Craycraft.
I believe them.
I mean,
it was some random guy on the internet, so I'm sure he was telling the truth.
For sure. I mean, they always do. If it wasn't for that Packers game where like literally everyone was out of COVID, all the receivers were out, and like River Craycraft and like Richie James were the only receivers. I'm not really like River Craycraft. That's I mean the 2020 season I think will always be remembered, and I'm gonna always remember it with East Bay Chris. I think they're always gonna be like just connected, just because if it wasn't for your pessimism, I don't think I would have necessarily gotten through that. I think I would have been super impressed.
I think the worse they are, the better it is for me and my brand.
No,
but that's the point I was trying to make. Like on my YouTube show, like it's different. It's different, and I think it's hard to stay in character for like if you're doing 30-40 minute shows.
You do a little bit of both. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's smart though, because like you're trying to because on one hand, yeah, you're I mean, your social media account is hilarious. I mean, like that's like I'm just gonna say it's super funny. Probably my favorite follow just on Twitter. And I mean, for sure, definitely on 49ers Twitter and all that. Like you and Grant, just the bickering between the two of you guys, and then he retweets your stuff and stuff. And but just your YouTube show. I mean, I think that's like a really good direction. I think it's really interesting, and I mean, I can't wait to see what else you're gonna do with that and stuff like that. But I was telling Meter that I think the funniest thing would be East Bay Chris actually shows up to Levi Stadium and gets like on-field passes. That would be like if I mean 10 years from now, whatever, I turn on NBC and East Bay Chris is a sideline reporter right there. Like do you remember that one dude who like butchered the interview, and like I'm not sure if he like spoke very good English or anything, but it was just like one of the worst interviews, and everyone was memeing that. And like they never brought him ever on again. It was like a Spanish reporter or something like that. And I would want like an East Bay Chris type. Like you just go up to a player and like they're like, no, I don't want to talk to this guy ever again.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy. I forget his name.
I don't remember his name either. I'm like, my memories were completely blanking today.
Oh,
it was just memes all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was so uncomfortable. And you've never seen him again. I've never seen that guy. They've
exiled him. The rumors are that he's been exiled from any sort of sports media. But
I want to say that was when Chip Kelly was the coach of the team.
I think so. It was around that. Yeah.
Never. That whole Chip Kelly era was so forgettable. Except the fact that Colin Kaepernick ran in that 2-point conversion that flipped the 49ers from getting Myles Garrett to Solomon Thomas. Yep. But I do not remember a single other thing from it.
I forget the details, but I'm a little obsessed with that season because it was just so random. And from the get-go, you just knew that pairing of Balky and Chip Kelly, it wasn't going to work. Who thought that was going to work? Why would Jed do that?
I mean, and the QB competition between Blaine Gabbert and Colin Kaepernick, that was, man, electric. I mean, to say the least. It was reminiscent of a Steve Young, Joe Montana QB competition.
Wasn't Kaepernick traded to the Broncos that year too or something, and it was vetoed? What happened with that?
There was like rumors of it. I remember that.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. So he was having discussions directly with Elway, and Elway wanted him to take a pay cut, but Kaepernick didn't want to take it. So I don't think the talks extended beyond that.
Okay.
I do remember, and I think that was also the year that was like that year is a crazy football year too, because that wasn't that the one where the Browns tried to trade for A.J. McCarron, but they couldn't get like the facts in time or something like that.
Yeah,
and and this like holy, like that's a season I just forgot about. That just came into my head like all of a sudden. That's yeah.
Yeah, and that offseason too, when they hired Chip Kelly, if you look at the list of head coaching candidates, it was awful. Like it was. Hugh Jackson was like the number one target that season. Sean McDermott was actually one of the guys that was interviewed. He didn't get a job that offseason, and he was the best one on the list. I remember,
wasn't there like Sean Payton rumors too? Like there was like, for some reason, there's like an inkling like Sean Payton might like lead the Saints. Payton. And then we got Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly.
I think Sean Payton was just sort of leveraging other teams in the league, and he leveraged the 49ers to get a new contract. But yeah, Doug Peterson was hired that offseason as well. So they could have got Doug Peterson and potentially a Super Bowl. But
Adam Gase that year too? Or no, Adam Gase was the same year as Shanahan, I think, right?
No, that was the year Adam Gase had like a really good year, and I think he took him to the playoffs, and everyone was like, oh, Adam Gase, like the next whatever, like offensive guru. And everything. He was like what Shanahan and like McVay are right now. Like I think that's what everyone was talking about Adam Gase back then.
That was Matt Moore in the wild card game, right? Was that year?
Yeah, I remember that. I have very fond memories.
How times have changed. Yeah, no, that's crazy. Aaron, go ahead. I think you had a question, right? I think I cut you off at that point.
No, but should I ask him the question? I think you guys know.
I mean, I think we are at the point of the interview. I think we should ask you the famous question.
Right.
A little bit of Aaron, provide a little context. Adrian, we asked Adrian Colbert, former 49ers safety. We asked him this question. We've asked Vish this question as well when he was on with us. But Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, I asked Adrian Colbert this question. He was very uncomfortable, and it's actually very painful to watch it back. So I just hope you're ready for this. Okay. I think this will go over better with you. So
I think so too.
It's a question, right? Would you rather fight 10 duck-sized Dante Pettises or 1 Dante Pettis-sized duck?
Now think about this for a second, Chris. You got to think about this. Okay. This is important. This is like Vish analyzed everything. He thought about this very much. He thought about like the height and
Wait, okay, so Dante Pettis-sized duck.
It's a duck that's like 6 foot or 5'11", or however tall he is.
6'1", I think.
Ducks, I mean, they have long legs. They're very thin legs. So I don't know if they're easily breakable. If I could just kind of get underneath there and just, snap the legs. Because if I can break the legs, then it's over.
That's true, but the hissing is very intimidating. You got to think about that.
Do ducks hiss?
I think. Well, I guess that's more geese. That's more geese. I guess that is true. That's more geese.
Yeah, and are they quick to turn around? Because if I could just get to the backside, get underneath there, snap the legs, it's over. But I'm also thinking about the small ducks, and can I just kick them?
Well, they're little Dante Pettises, so yeah, you probably could kick them, but
they're probably real quick, and they have
but that's morally conflicting because you'd feel bad because it's just a bunch of little Dante Pettises.
Yeah, and plus that's 10 Hall of Fame careers you're cutting short by kicking.
That's exactly good point, Aaron.
Yeah, that is a good point. I would feel guilty about that, and he might block me again on Twitter, and I had to work.
Oh, you wouldn't want that, yeah.
I had to work so hard to get him to unblock me in the first place. I think I would take on the duck. I feel I feel good about the duck strategy that I have. As long as it's not quick to turn around, I feel like I'm fast enough where I can maneuver around it. Snap the legs.
Well, I was just gonna give you an idea because it is a Dante. I mean, I guess it's not Dante Pettis, but it's still in a Dante Pettis sized body. So I would assume that maybe it has some of the skills of him. Maybe if you like a kick return and you just put a football really high up, it would get really discombobulated, and that's when you would attack it. That's just. All right, Lemire, I'm sorry. That's my last Dante Pettis. No more.
I'm gonna draft him in fantasy football again this year. Hopefully that goes off. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what we did in week 1 as well. I don't know if Lemire did that.
I have screenshots of everybody putting Dante Pettis in their lineup.
We put him in the lineup, and he gave us a big fat goose egg.
No, that's how I actually became a big Dante Pettis fan. That's how I actually started
2019 as well.
2019 the year he was drafted, I saw an interview before he was drafted. I was like, this dude's cool. Then he got drafted by the Niners, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I could watch an interview, saw him play at Washington a little bit. That's pretty cool. And then I think it was week 9 or week 10, and my fantasy football team was just done. I needed a receiver bad, and I'm like, Dante Pettis is getting his opportunity with the Niners. You know what? Let's take a punt. And I think he caught 2 touchdowns that game. Let's take a punt. No punt.
I mean, that's on you. You said that. That's not even me. I promise.
So he had 2 touchdowns, and this was the Seahawks game. He had 150 yards or something. Some crazy game. And that's when I was like, this is my guy right here. Then he got another touchdown against the Buccaneers, another one against the Broncos, and since then I've been a Dante Pettis stan.
Man, you set your expectations low. It's really easy to impress Lemire.
It really is. I told him, I'm like, Lemire, are you worried that Kenny Golladay just got signed? They just drafted a receiver in the first round. I was like, no, there's no problem. There's still a spot for Dante Pettis. They're going to trade him.
Wide receiver number 7,
9.
Dante Pettis.
Yeah, wide receiver 9, Dante Pettis.
Didn't they just sign? They signed someone else recently too.
Kelvin Benjamin for tight end. They just signed Kelvin Benjamin to play tight end.
He ate the Popeyes biscuit.
Benjamin.
Mm-hmm. That's Lemire, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Dante Pettis. I think his best case scenario is if he gets traded. I think that's probably the move. The Giants, they got a little too many receivers there to feed for Dante to be a Hall of Fame receiver as he's primed to be. Of course. But yeah, no. Chris, thank you so much for coming on. Of course, we'll put all your links in our description, our YouTube video. I'm going to shout you out on Twitter, of course. Please do check it out. Check out Chris's show. Check out his Twitter account. The Twitter account for sure. I mean, that will not disappoint. I mean, I just promise you that. Maybe we'll even link. I think we got to link the mock draft or something because the mock draft was hilarious. That's just for me. I'll maybe even link the mock draft in the YouTube description. Just check all that out. I promise you, if you're into any of our stuff, you definitely will be into it, Chris, because we're like a discount East Bay Chris, pretty much.
Basically,
if you're into any of that, if you're into us, you'd definitely be into Chris. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming on, man.
I had so much fun. That went so quickly. Yeah,
that did go. We need you on again. I think definitely before the season starts, we need you on again, or at least mid-season. We need like an East Bay Chris mid-season review. I think that would be perfect.
Yeah, you know.
I'd love to do that. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. It was good to know. Yeah, it was good having you.